Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth. If you've got anything to ask me, any topic suggestions, please tag me over on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. How can we progress in this world when we are too afraid to express ourselves in fear of offending a group of people or being accused of negative stereotypes? How can we go on social media? How can we walk in the outside world if we're too afraid to speak, to make a joke, just in case we offend people, then the mob come after us? Because Warner Brothers have had to bend the knee, and this is what it's all about. Warner Brothers apologises after The Witches sparks backlash from people with disabilities. Warner Brothers has apologised after being criticised by people with disabilities over the depiction of Anne Hathaway's character in The Witches. In a statement, the studio said it regretted any offence caused. Of course, they don't regret the offence caused, but they have to say it. In the recent Robert Zemeckis directed adaptation, Hathaway's villainous character, known as the Grand Witch, has missing fingers. Many people with disabilities pointed out that she appears to have, now I'm going to have trouble reading this word, ectrodocity, a limb abnormality that's commonly referred to as split hand. Advocates fear that portraying villains with physical defects can perpetuate stereotypes that disabilities are abnormal or scary. Oh dear. Oh dear. So Captain Hook, is Captain Hook now offensive? Look, this is ridiculous. Paralympic athlete Amy Marin said she was disappointed in Warner Brothers and questioned if there was much thought given as to how this representation of limb differences would affect the limb difference community. The official Twitter account for the Paralympic Games echoed Marin's sentiments, writing, "Limb difference is not scary. Differences should be celebrated and disability has to be normalised." They want to normalise everything. It's not that disabilities are not normal. There's probably as many people with disabilities as people without disabilities. So it's already normalised, but to a person, I suppose, who's not disabled, who sees a disabled person, it may feel as an abnormality. But of course it's not. And no one wants to cause anyone with a disability any offence. But at the end of the day, if you're offended by this TV show or movie or whatever it was, because I have no knowledge of it, I haven't seen it yet, right? It's absolutely preposterous to hold Warner Brothers to account. Marin explained that surgeons often try to build hands for children and adults with limb differences. It's upsetting to something that makes a person different being represented as something scary, she said. Yes, I am fully aware that this is a film and these are witches, but witches are essentially monsters, she continued. My fear is that children will watch this film unaware that it massively exaggerates the Roald Dahl original and that limbs differences begin to be feared. That's not what people are seeing. People are seeing something, they're entertained by it, then they forget about it. A spokesperson for Warner Brothers said the studio was deeply saddened to learn our depiction of the fictional characters in The Witches could upset people with disabilities. In adapting the original story, we worked with designers and artists to come up with a new interpretation of the cat-like claws that are described in the book. The statement reads, "It was never the intention for viewers to feel that the fantastical non-human creatures were meant to represent them. This film is about the power of kindness and friendship. It is our hope that families and children can enjoy the film and embrace this empowering, love-filled theme." Oh, dear, dear, dear. The Witches, which debuted on HBO Max in October, is the second film adaptation of Dahl's popular children's book. But yet, nothing else to see there. Wow, wow, wow. This snowflake culture goes deeper and deeper. In the end, there'll be nothing left to be offended by. There was no reason for this. There was no reason to be offended. There was no reason to force or embarrass a studio, right, to have to apologise. Warner Media, you shouldn't have apologised because you did nothing wrong. This wasn't about representing disabilities or making them like abnormalities. It wasn't about that. It was about a witch who hasn't got any fingers or whatever it is. Because as I say, I haven't seen it, right? That's the end of it. And anyone who's offended by this, right? So next time I see a bald person or his head shaved off, right, I should be offended because they're trying to make it look abnormal because a villain's bald or something. How deep do we go here? This is absolutely ridiculous, and the mob will go on. They are never satisfied, no matter how much you apologise. In the end, right, creativity will cease at the red light. There will be no creativity or imagination. Can you imagine how difficult it is for creatives now in the entertainment industry? They sit there, they write something, right? And then they sit there in a room and they say, well, this could offend this group or this could offend the other. It is ridiculous. It is impossible to be expressive anymore, to make jokes, right? It is. But it's all right for the other side to make jokes, right? It's okay. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely outrageous. I really want to know what you think about this because I am stirring mad about this. I read this, I saw this on Twitter, and I thought to myself, this must be a joke. But it's not a joke. This is real. This is our reality now, boys and girls. How deep, how far are we going to go here? I tell you what, if I owned a network or a studio and I was a creative, I'd do whatever I wanted and they could cry for the rest of the year. And I'd come out and say, listen, if you're offended by this, you're a fool. Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. And I'll be back with more videos tomorrow. I keep on saying I'll be back with more videos tomorrow, but something crops up. I probably won't be back again. See you again soon.